Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Running Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Big Mike, and that guy over there is the Jacob Fatu to my solo Sokoa, Sped Brock for what's going on, Sped? How you doing tonight?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I am doing awesome. Ready to talk about some wrestling. Ready to get into AEW Full Gear as soon as I share this stream onto my Twitter so more people can come watch us and join us. Thank you for the 10 people who are already here. We appreciate all of you. And we start with our day one. Lady Alpha, welcome to the Running Podcast, your home for all things wrestling, hate-free and drama-free. Join the discussion. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That is right. Make sure you go to @_Big Mike 27 on YouTube or the Run In Podcast, the Run In Wrestling Podcast. Please go subscribe if you like what you see. If you don't like what you see, I wouldn't mind the help either way. Trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of this year. Trying to go into 2025 with at least 100 subscribers. So make sure you go hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend, especially if you like what you see. And we just talk about wrestling, man. Like Lady Alpha said, we're drama-free, hate-free. You know, we have a spot for everyone. We're not like the normal IWC that you see that are going to judge you. I don't care if you like AEW. I don't care if you like WWE. Does not matter. But please go subscribe to us. It would help us out. Make sure you go subscribe to Sped's Twitch. We actually go live at 7:30 there with some behind the scenes and some cool video game drops if you're into video games. So make sure you follow. It's at SP3DROCK4 on Twitch there. And
no 4
there. My bad.
Yeah, it's just Spedrock. 4 happened to be when I got suspended or kicked off of Twitter before because of remarks that I made. I don't remember making remarks or whatever.
I got you. And Davey just subscribed. Thank you. I just got the email there. So it means I know you're in the chat, Davey or Stampede. So he is in the chat, big AEW fan. So I know he's going to enjoy tonight as we go over Full Gear. We will talk about a little bit of WWE first, just because we're going to hit on some highlights. And then we will get into our Full Gear predictions. As you can see by my little title, I am currently the AEW King of the Run-In. WWE King is a Sped over there. So he won our last WWE predictions.
Taking that crown.
For the crown. So
taking it.
As I've said in the promos all week, will he add to his collection and have 2 crowns? Which would be weird to have 2 crowns on one head, but we'll figure it out. Or will I retain my crown and continue to be the king of AEW?
Nope, that's the wrong one.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
One
of them.
There it is.
So send me
the running crown.
A little behind the scenes, a little BTS for you guys. Send me just the crown, like with no background, and we'll put it up as a slide when we do this, so they can see it.
Yeah, I got you.
He's the smart one. He does a lot of the he does all the hard work. I just sit here and talk bullcrap.
That's not true.
All right. So Full Gear predictions coming up. We do talk about a few things on WWE, starting off with the saddest moment in wrestling this year on NXT. It is the end of Chase U. You see Mr. Chase is dejected there. Ridge Holland defeats Andre Chase to become #1 contender for Trick Williams' title and ending Chase U. I will let you have your time on this because I know you were thrilled with this.
Listen,
because you were a very mean and angry person. So you have.
How am I mean and angry? Listen, my boy Will, this is for you. All right. I know you said Speddy is a hater. Here, I drank a lot of haterade for this one for you, buddy. All right. Listen. This is the greatest thing that's happened on NXT in a long time. All right. It is finally over. Thank you. We don't have to hear, give me a C. I don't want to hear none of that. That was so dumb. All right. It ran its course, and Ridge Holland gave everyone an early Christmas present when Chase U went from this to nothing. And I love every second of it. It should have happened at Halloween Havoc. Should have been done there. All right. But I'm happy it's done. It's finally done. Ridge should never had to freaking go for a #1 contenders match anyway. So this is great.
But you enjoyed it because he got to end Chase U.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
You can't complain about him having to go through the match. If you
I did. No. I even left Herb and Raj's podcast, which, by the way, great podcast, great show last night, guys. It's just I had to watch that with my own eyes. Yeah, it was great. It was amazing.
So yeah, that is true. And look, I like Chase U. I like the characters in there. If this means they get to kind of branch out and do their own thing, especially Thea Hale and Duke Hudson,
Yeah, the
Riley
MVP.
Osborne, I'm okay with. He's not my favorite in the group, but I'm a big Thea Hale fan. I'm a big Duke Hudson fan. So if they get to go off and do their own thing, and as you remember on last week's show, I actually think Duke Hudson will do that because I kind of predicted this on last week's show. Not that it was a big surprise. I think we all knew it was going to happen. But if he goes on to win a title as a singles competitor, maybe the North American Cup to start, as I mentioned, because that would make me happy because that means I'm right.
Yeah.
I'm being right. So hopefully that happens, and they all get to spread their own wings and go off on their own thing.
That'd be great.
Of huge consequence happened on. You had some more Iron Survivor qualifiers, which we will talk about them when we get closer to deadline. One of my favorite matches on NXT is the Iron Survivor Challenge. It's a really cool match. But again, we will talk more about that when we get closer to deadline for those number one contender matches. Next up, Monday Night Raw. Quick hit on them. We do have the women's War Game match set up. It is Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae against Bianca, Jade, Rhea, Io, and Naomi. That is the 5-on-5 War Games match. How you feeling about it? What are your thoughts on the match?
I agree with everyone who says that Liv's team shouldn't take the loss on this one. I do agree with that. There's too many titles over there. That in Money in the Bank, you get the big titles over there. You can't let the big titles lose unless you're going to have Candice LeRae take the loss, which is bullcrap because she's actually doing really well lately. Or Raquel, which kind of weakens the bodyguard position more for her. So I really want to see Survivor Series traditional 5-on-5, and this would have been perfect for it. We didn't need a females War Games, but I do agree with pretty much everybody who's saying that Liv's team should win this.
So, and we will get into official predictions next week. Programming note, next week's show will actually be on Friday due to Thanksgiving. Yeah. I know I will not be home, so we won't be able to do the show next Thursday. And I will remind you guys on X and all other social media platforms, Blue Sky, Threads, all that good stuff. We will remind you guys there that we will not be on next Thursday, but the show will be next Friday where we will do our War Games predictions, official predictions, because anything can change between now and then. I get that, but, you've got the other titles, the tag team titles on the other side. There's titles on both sides. I just don't get – there's two things I don't understand about this. One, and we talked about this before we went on air, how Rhea Ripley came back so fast. If that's a real injury, how she's back that fast headbutting people. I know she's got the mask. I know it's all that. But – and I'm not going to say it's a fake injury because I don't know. But it just seems odd that 2 to 3 weeks after having a broken orbital bone – that she's headbutting people with just a plastic, or plexiglass mask on. That's my first issue. And I know you have an issue with it as well, because we talked about it before.
Yeah, I didn't
like bigger issue. And the one that bugs me a little bit more about this match is the whole time we've got Bianca Belair being mad at Bayley for damage control, everything like that, so that she didn't want her on the team, but she wants Naomi, but yet she has no problem with Io Sky.
Exactly.
And that's also in damage control.
I get that. That just threw me off too. I was like, wait, are you serious? Like, you got a problem with her still, but not with Io? Like, that makes no sense.
In an era of WWE where they're trying to do more of that kind of storytelling, detail-oriented storytelling, I don't know how we just speed past that and not criticize it, because God knows it would get criticized anywhere else.
Yeah.
If AEW was doing something like that, it would get criticized. NXT, TNA. And I'm not going to call out another company and not call out WWE for some BS doing the same thing. There should have been some kind of story where Io and Bianca come face to face and have some sort of conversation to where they come to some kind of agreement. I get it. Bayley was the leader at the point where Bianca was having all the issues with him, but Io was right there. Io's now the leader of Damage Control. So to me, her not having an issue with her at all just doesn't make sense.
No, I get what you're saying there. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense whatsoever with the whole Damage Control hatred towards Bayley and not towards the rest of them. It just doesn't make sense at all. But I get what you're saying. I do.
So, but all that aside, I think this is going to be an amazing match just because these are, 10 of the top competitors. I'll say that 10 of the top competitors in WWE and some of the top competitors in the world.
Yeah.
In women's wrestling. Obviously there's some other people splattered in that, I wouldn't consider the top of the world, but, people in WWE, these are close to the top 10 wrestlers you have in your company with a couple of sections. You could kind of go in between there.
Yeah.
So the match itself is going to be amazing. Io Sky is going to do something crazy because she does it every time she's in a War Games match.
Always.
I would imagine Candice LeRae is going to do something crazy because she's Candice LeRae. She's going to do that.
Well, she's a veteran in that War Games matchup.
Well, there's a lot of more. So is Raquel. So is Rhea's been in it a few times in NXT, things like that. So, there's a lot of it in here that lends it to itself to be a good match. I just wish they would have tied up the story a little bit better.
Yeah, no, I feel what you're saying.
The other thing from Raw, we officially have number one contenders. I don't know if it's going to be on next Monday's show or if it's going to be on the War Games card, but the War Raiders are officially going to challenge for the Judgment Day's tag team titles. And this is a crazy stat, too. The Judgment Day have hit 150 days as tag team champions and have one defense. Everybody gave Logan Paul crap for only defending it a couple times. And it's not fair not to give these guys the same treatment only one time. And I get it. They've been in storylines. They've been on TV every week. And so here's my issue. Part of it is there haven't been a lot of really great tag teams that they have built that are together right now. You've had the New Day talking about getting broken up for a while. You've had the breakup of Alpha Academy. Now they're trying to piece back together. The War Raiders have been hurt. The Creed brothers have been through a couple of different changes between being, American made and the original Creed brothers, things like that. AOP have been focused on the Wyatt Six and, the things that they've been doing with the New Day and stuff like that. So there's been a whole lot of other stuff going on. So that's why you can see down at the bottom, I want you, Sped, and I will do the same thing, to build a tag team. So because this is something we need to do. We need to get more tag teams in this division so they can have great, whoever wins the tag match, whether it's the War Raiders or the Judgment Day, have some more tag teams to go against. And since we don't have any really established tag teams, so and guys in the comments, I want you guys to do the same thing. I want to hear your input. You can have two people, one person, or they can either be somebody that is currently on Raw or somebody that you're going to call up from NXT. No one from SmackDown. So you can't put Jimmy and Jay back together and have the Usos because Jimmy's a SmackDown guy. And I did that for that reason because I figured that would be the easy answer.
No, I had my answer as soon as you said it.
So go ahead. Who do you think? Who is your tag team that you would build?
Umas and Obafemi. That's your tag team right there. We had the Brothers of Destruction back in the day. We had Kane and Big Show back in the day. Now we need Omos and Obafemi. All right, the Wrecker of the Universe. Those two guys together would bring the tag team division to a different level that we haven't seen it at in a while. Listen, think about who they could destroy along the way. All right, they could destroy the Judgment Day. They could destroy Alpha Academy. They could destroy Otis and Tozawa. They could destroy everybody but AOP and I would have to say right now, the War Raiders, those guys would give them those two teams would give them a challenge. I would give them that. All right. Because AOP, one, is a bad team that doesn't get booked the right way. And the War Raiders, man, I've been watching them since Ring of Honor. So those guys have been killing it for a long time. But yeah, no, that when you texted me this, asked me this question, I immediately knew, let me go Omos and Obafemi because I want the two monsters together.
Okay. And you have actually talked about that on a previous show. I remember you mentioning those two together before.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a huge surprise. And mine is going to be very similar, except I am not going to put Omos in that because, one, I don't know where Omos is, and I don't know if he's ever coming back, things like that. I am actually going to go Obafemi and Bronson Reed.
God, that would be a dangerous team, too. Both those. Oof.
For a lot of the same reasons you just mentioned, I think they
kill
could
everybody.
Imagine those two in the War Raiders or those two in AOP
Yeah.
Hell, even those two and the Creed brothers, as strong as the
Oof.
Creed brothers are.
Yes. Yeah. You're right about that. The Creed
Yeah,
brothers
that's
are a good tag team.
they just haven't been placed in that position. There's only like three established tag teams on Raw right now, not including the Judgment Day. Which is one of the reasons we're doing this exercise, because we need more tag teams.
Oh yeah.
So I thought that was a pretty fun episode, or a pretty fun exercise is the word I'm trying to get out. But yeah, again, let us know in the comments who you think should be a tag team that they can put together. What's up? You got
One last thing on Raw before we switch to SmackDown. Okay, that Karrion Kross and Miz segment against the Wyatt towards the Wyatts, that was cinema. You know, everyone says, that was great. No, listen, that was cinema. All right, those two together as heels doing what they're doing, phenomenal work. We're gonna see a different level in this match. And I was gonna say Bray Wyatt, man, he's looking just like his brother, isn't he?
He did.
When Bo Dallas came back with it, listen, this is gonna be a great match that's gonna lead all the way to WrestleMania. Watch, this is gonna go all the way.
Yeah, and shout out to the Miz, he was great in that. But look, I have been a fan. Very vocally of Karrion Kross on X and everywhere else, and he's made stuff like this for years.
Oh yes.
Go follow. It's at Real Killer Cross on X. I think he's got his YouTube linked. He has a YouTube channel. Go check out some of the shorts and videos he's made. He made a video not too long ago. It's basically him telling a story riding a motorcycle in the desert. That when they go to Vegas for WrestleMania, could be the open to WrestleMania.
Yeah,
it's that good. The Rock and Braun Breaker, that's a very good tag team. That would be they definitely kill some people.
Braun by itself would kill him. Rock would just come in and finish it. Yeah,
he'd come in and get the pin and take all the credit.
Take all the credit. Braun wouldn't give a damn though. He'd be making money.
That would be entertaining as hell.
It would be entertaining.
Braun Breaker do all the work, and then him come in, just hit the rock bottom or the people's elbow, take the pin, and
walk
take
away.
all the credit. Oh,
yep.
That would be a very creative and entertaining tag team to put together.
Yeah, but that'd be and I'm gonna just jump over to AEW for a second. That would be a Christian Cage move, though. Think about it. That would be something he would do. Yeah, that's great stuff, though.
That's true.
Great stuff.
All right. Anything else from Raw?
No. I'm not getting into my boy today. Everybody's been making fun of me for it.
Well, and I'm sure he'll come up later in the show, because there's another topic that we'll talk about that he may come up in. All right, moving on to SmackDown. You see the tagline on there. We have most of the men's War Games match revealed, but who will join the OG bloodline? You do have Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, the Tongan twins, Tongaloa and Tama Tonga, and Bronson Reed, as we mentioned before, against Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Sami Zayn, or Sami Uso in this instance, and mystery partner. So I'll ask you the question: who's it going to be?
We all know it's going to be a Paul Heyman guy. I don't think it's going to be Seth. I really don't think it's going to be Seth. I don't think Seth helps him out like that. But I saw something. I don't know if it was you. I don't remember who it was, but I liked it a lot. And they said, Paul Heyman. Yes. Hold on. Paul Heyman's phone was off because of Solo. I seen that footage again. I forgot about that. And thank you on X, by the way, all you guys out there giving us these, recaps and stuff so we can refresh our brains and stuff like that. That was awesome. I forgot Solo smashed Paul's phone. All right. So of course Paul's like, nope, I'm not getting into this. He's done. I'm out. I got beat up. I got thrown through the table. I'm good. Okay. So I think he comes back, and I don't think it's Brock Lesnar. I think it's Punk. I think it might be Punk that comes back, and he only helps out because Paul Heyman needs it,
So again, I have said that exact same thing for weeks now. I would like to, first off, Davey, how you doing? Jumping in.
How you doing, man? Thank you for joining.
Lady Alpha, now she doesn't know. She thought it was going to be Seth, but now she's not so sure.
I don't think it's gonna be
And
Seth.
if you go back 2 weeks on this show and a little more than 2 weeks on my Twitter or X, I actually posted almost that same thing. You know, the bloodline goes through and asks everybody they can think of, which they've done. They've asked Seth, they've asked LA Knight, they've asked Braun
Braun.
Breaker. You know, Jimmy went and asked Braun Breaker, and everyone has told them no. So I did not foresee the phone being turned off. I think that was a good twist.
I like that.
Draws it out another week or so. But I think eventually he goes to Paul's house because he knows where he lives, obviously. He gets Paul, brings him back in, and says, Paul, we've killed everybody for the last 4 years. We don't know what to do. We don't have anybody there. Nobody will help us. And Paul Heyman says, I got it. I know a guy. And brings in the original Paul Heyman guy. I know him and Brock Lesnar were there together. We've talked about it on another show. But CM Punk is the one that coined the phrase, I'm a Paul Heyman guy.
Yep.
So he's the original Paul Heyman guy. You know, you had the interaction on SmackDown a few months ago where Paul Heyman said, please take me with you when you go back to Raw. These guys scare me to death, where they had the interaction. And then you had and then you had Cody Rhodes come in and make the save. So there was no real altercation, but you had the threat of it. Or Cody Rhodes just came in and saved CM Punk just to get the pop. But you got that interaction. There's never been an interaction between the OG Bloodline and CM Punk because he hasn't been here for those 4 years. It is the perfect match. What's that?
Paul did tell Roman, and Roman told told the Bloodline, don't mess with Punk. That was the rule that Paul had. He was like, listen, don't mess with Punk. Out of everybody, just leave him be. You know? So that's why I thought he was going to come his way, you know?
So yeah, I also think it's going to be CM Punk for those reasons. Davey thinks it's going to be Hikuleo, which I think in WWE terms, he would not be called Hikuleo. It would be Talatonga or something like that. I know they have that name trademarked to play off of the other Tongan names, but he is, I have heard he's coming to WWE. I don't know if he's going to be there. There is another family member on the payroll. Was it
signed?
Lance? It's either Lance or Zilla. Either Zilla Vatu or Lance.
I think it was Zilla Vatu. I think it was Zilla.
So yeah, one of them. But from everything I've heard, they're going to go. And Hikuleo is actually, I think he's actually on the books. Either that or he's coming.
I thought they were going to NXT.
That's what I was about to say. I think they're going to go to NXT first. They can still play into it. But I really think, and she heard Lance. So yeah, she's that name triggered a name for her. So there, she thought it was Lance. I did think it was Lance. I think it's Lance Anoa'i, not Fatu. I think he's actually an Anoa'i. And then Zilla Fatu is out there.
I thought Jacob's brother just signed an NXT contract.
He may have. There's so many.
There's Bubba Ray back in the day.
There's Samoans everywhere.
Everywhere. This is for your 95 cousins.
Yeah, I do definitely think it's going to be Punk, or I think it should be Punk. Not definitely going to be. Hopefully, we will find out more answers tomorrow night. Hopefully, they get a hold of Paul. We find out Paul is still alive, hopefully, and not, out of the hospital. So Hikuleo was part of the GOD with Tama and Tonga Tonga.
That's true.
Anybody who doesn't know, GOD is Guerrillas of Destiny, which is
the
tag team name or New Japan tag team name. And I get that. I know he was with them. I think it would have been cool if maybe he would have taken Bronson's spot. Although I love Bronson in this role with them.
Yo, I was gonna say Bronson Reed in this role right now just elevated the new bloodline. This new bloodline is stacked. All right. Listen, when you said no SmackDown members, I wanted Bronson Reed and Jacob Fatu together. That was my other team.
I figured it would have been somebody like that, or you would have brought Jimmy and Jay back together to.
I wasn't gonna bring Jimmy and Jay. Look, I like Jay being by himself. Jay being by himself is great. It's been great. He's doing good things. It's just, oh man, that tag.
I do think Hikuleo would make an interesting put on the OG Bloodline, because then you have Tama and Tonga's brother on Jimmy and Jay's team. And then you have Jimmy and Jay's brother on the other Bloodline team. So you have one brother for each.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Let's see. Shackle thinks it's going to be the last member. Well, the last member of the Shield is John Moxley, who we will talk about here in a minute. He's currently in AEW, and he ain't going anywhere.
No, he's not.
so
no.
that's one thing that I can definitely tell, because Seth Rollins was the other member. And then you had Dean Ambrose at the time, who is now John Moxley in AEW, who will be on the show later on when we talk about Full Gear. But he is locked into AEW and will definitely not be coming to WWE anytime soon, if ever again. So I think that's all I had for SmackDown, because the SmackDown was a decent show. But we will get on to Full Gear, AEW Full Gear predictions. I don't think anything was added last night. I haven't seen anything. So there are 9 matches on the card. There are 1 0 hour and 8 main show matches. So kind of a light card, which is weird to say, but it is a light card for AEW, who normally has about 10 to 14 matches, including their pre-show stuff.
Yeah.
But as always, we will go through, make our predictions. Make sure you got your notebook ready, Sped, so we can figure out who's going to be the king of AEW. See, you didn't have it.
No, I do. I just had to find a pin.
Yeah, that's important, unless you're going to prick your finger and write it in blood. But then I think that makes us some kind of pact that I don't think any of us want to do.
I don't want to do that. We're good.
All right. So first up, we will start with the 0 hour matchup. Big Boom AJ with Big Justice and the Rizzler.
Oh my God.
Against QT Marshall.
I'm going QT. Going QT because this Big Boom. What is this Big Boom guy? I could have done better than that. AEW, listen. I could do better than this guy. Okay.
Look, he's an internet personality.
Who cares?
He draws eyes to the product.
He draws no eyes.
He does actually.
No,
he's got a pretty big following on his socials. Sorry, excuse me if you heard me burp. I apologize. But he's got a pretty big following. Him and the 2 kids, the Rizzler and Big Justice. I've never heard of them because I'm an old man and I don't mess with a lot of social media that much unless it's X. But I've heard tons of kids talking about him. I've heard tons of people talking about him. He has brought eyes to the AEW product, so you cannot fault them for having any type of celebrity like that. Look, it's no different than NXT bringing in Sexy Red or somebody like that. It's no different.
That didn't help them out either.
It did, though. I mean, it brought different eyes onto the product that we didn't look at it. So again, and I didn't dog NXT for bringing in Sexy Red because I knew why. I'm not going to dog AEW for bringing in Big Boom. I don't get it, but it's not for me. And
I'm going
okay.
QT though, man. QT knows how to do all of this.
And I'm going to go QT as well. Just because I don't see him getting the win. I think it's more for a pop.
Yep.
Which scares me because I think they may give him a pop to get the win. Just to have the pop in the crowd. But I'm going to go QT Marshall just because I don't want, your established wrestler. And look, I think I said the same thing when Bad Bunny came on. I think I've said the same thing when Pat McAfee's on. I don't want a celebrity coming in and beating up an established professional wrestler. And I get it. He used to be a wrestler 20 years ago. He was an indie wrestler 20 years ago. Okay, QT Marshall is a wrestler today, doing his thing week to week, episode to episode. He should not be beating QT Marshall.
Yep.
But there's going to be tons of shenanigans. There's people on the internet are going to love it. And it's going to, again, bring eyes to the product, which is what it's supposed to do. That's why it's on 0 hour.
Yep.
So good get for AEW for having any kind of celebrity come through that, any company would have done it. And I can't fault them for it. So the next match and I don't know the order they're going to put them on there. I just kind of put them in the order I like them, or that I wanted to see them, or how I would build the show, I guess is the best way to put it.
No,
so starting off the show, I've got the grudge match between MJF and Roderick Strong. I actually have MJF winning this pretty decisively.
Yeah.
I think he kills Roderick Strong.
Yeah.
Or destroys Roderick Strong. I won't say kill because that may be a little extreme. He destroys him.
Yeah.
And brings Adam Cole out so he can beat up Adam Cole too, because that's the match we're trying to get to.
Yep. No, I agree with everything you just said. Honestly, there's nothing more I can say about this. MJF is going to destroy Roderick Strong. There's no doubt. The end game is Cole versus MJF. Yeah.
Yeah. And Roderick will get offense in because I know the AEW doesn't do a lot of squash matches. unless you're Bobby Lashley facing the two guys on
Oh
Wednesday.
my God, cheeseburger for real.
Nope. Don't disparage Cheeseburger. We will not disparage Cheeseburger here.
I
Cheeseburger
like
has
the-
been an independent wrestler for years. He is
Why
a
is he-
legend on the independent scene.
My question
I
is,
will not.
I'm not going to
have any
disparage him.
Cheeseburger disparage.
I'm not going to disparage him. I just like the name. My thing is this, okay? Why is a very well-known, established wrestler and like squashing these dudes like that? He's just having squash matches, like he's just coming off an injury or something. You know?
That's more my main thing. I would have rather seen, and I don't fault him for doing it because I think it makes some sense to get Bobby Lashley in a ring to get, because you've heard wrestlers in the past, the WWE ring and the AEW ring feel different.
Oh yeah,
The ropes are slightly different. The way you run the ropes are slightly different because they're not wound the same. There are things that are different that you need to kind of flesh out before you have a big match.
yeah.
And maybe that's why they did it. And if so, I'm glad for him. I would have much rather his debut been against Swerve on the pay-per-view.
No, I feel that
Here in a little bit. But yeah, this match, I think MJF takes it fairly handily, somehow brings Adam Cole out, and then proceeds to beat up Adam Cole, or Adam Cole beats him up. So that's the next match you guys get, is MJF and Adam Cole down the line. I don't know why I'm having some issues today. Ooh, goodness. Next up, you have Hangman Adam Page and Jay White, the rematch of the last pay-per-view match. Jay White took the last one because of the injury to Adam Hangman Page's leg. Sped, who you got?
See, I forgot Hangman lost last one, so I was gonna say Jay White, but my heart is now saying Hangman. I'm going Jay White. I'm going White. I'm staying Jay White. Just because of Switchblade, man. The guy's phenomenal. Been watching this dude since New Japan. I like everything about this guy. Jay White, he can cut a promo. He can get in the ring. He can go with anybody. This guy, they got to be building him for a world title run or a chance at the world title soon. Or another title. I haven't seen him with the title around his waist yet, besides the trios. I think he had the trios title with the Gun Boys. But I say Jay White.
Have that for a minute. I don't know if he's had a single title. Maybe if he did, it was like the Continental or the International title for a little bit. I don't remember. But look, I don't know. Davey agrees with you. It is the Switchblade era. And I don't disagree with that. But I think with Jay White winning the last one, I think we're going to have a trilogy similar to that we've had. When you had Page and Swerve, Drew and Punk. I just don't see how any way that you let Adam Hangman Page lose again.
No, I feel that
he just lost the last match. He just turned heel. You got to let him have something. If he keeps losing, I mean, granted that may make an interesting storyline if he keeps losing and keeps getting more unhinged, which I guess he could do. But I think there's going to be another match in this series, and maybe it's a number one contenders match for a title next time. And I just think Adam Hangman Page takes this one because it sets up the next one. No, that's really my only reasoning. Just because because White won the last one, you got to have some kind of balance in there so you can set up another match.
No, I feel that.
And plus, the more I've watched Hangman, the more I've grown to be a fan of his because I've really started getting more into AEW over the past few months since we started this show. I was a casual AEW watcher, but not where I was watching it every week until we started doing the show back in August or July or August. We've been doing it for about 4 or 5 months now.
Yeah.
And the more I've watched it, the more I really like Hangman. I've seen Jay White before. I've actually seen more Jay White just because I've seen him more online.
Yeah.
Just more matches of him being highlighted. But I really think Hangman is going to do big things again in 2025, as is Jay White. But again, I don't think this is the final match, and I think they move it on another one. All right. Moving on to the 4-way tag team dance, you have Private Party, the Kings of the Black Throne, the Outrunners, and the Acclaimed vying for the AEW tag team titles. I think I know where you're going with this, Sped, but who you got?
I'm going Private Party, man. They just won the titles. This is going to make them look good. Let's not get it twisted. This is going to make them look good. But they just won the titles. There's no reason to drop it for them. Keep it on them, and then you could run it to where House of Black or Kings of the Black Throne is going up against Private Party one-on-one here soon next year sometime, or the Outrunners get them on Dynamite for a couple of weeks or whatever. The Acclaim could run it in as well. So you could run this Fatal 4-Way, yes, but now you're setting it up for all three of these guys down the line going into next year and everything else. So I got Private Party winning, and I'm honestly going to say this: one of these three teams will be the teams that dethrone Private Party next year.
I'm torn. I agree with everything you just said. Private Party just won the tag team titles. It was a great feel-good moment when they beat the Bucks. And,
that was awesome.
I like what they've done with them, having the little VIP area while the other matches have been going on, giving them a little bit more character, a little bit more screen time. And I just don't know. This is probably one of the harder matches that I've had, and I've gone back and forth.
You're right, yeah.
And mainly because I love the Kings of the Black Throne, or mainly I like Malachi Black, but Brody King I'm a fan of too.
Oh yeah,
I like the Acclaimed, but they've been teasing getting broken up, so I don't think they would take it. The Outrunners are the wild card because they're so flipping popular right now.
Yes. And listen, that's the team I think is going to dethrone Private Party next year. I think Private Party holds the titles until the beginning of the year next year. That's when they lose it. I don't know if they're doing anything pay-per-view wise in January, but they could be. Winter is coming in January. One of those type that they've done before. Type of dynamites. They could do that again, and here we go. Private Party loses to the Outrunners next year. That's what I was thinking. Like these guys just won. Like you said, the Outrunners, they're popular. Malachi Black and Brody Lee's been doing their thing, but at some point, Black needs to go for the TNT, the International, or the AEW title. All right, and like you said, the Acclaim's about to break up. They're going to have Max do his own thing, and they're going to have the other guy do his own thing. Yes, I don't remember their names like that, but still, they're going to be doing it. I'm not a big Acclaim fan. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, Acclaim. Nah, I'm not really that into them. But
so you've convinced me. And also, Davey thinks the same thing. And look, Davey, I will be completely transparent. Davey probably knows AEW more than either one of us combined, probably. He gives us a lot of information every week that he's on in our comments, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And with the conviction you had in your argument and him saying Private Party will retain, I will also go with Private Party. You guys have convinced me that maybe the Outrunners may take it later on, but I think they are going to build Private Party up. And they look, and this is why I was torn. They just changed over the AEW tag team division, not just the titles. The division feels different right now.
Oh, big time.
You don't have FTR and the Young Bucks in a title match. You do have the Acclaimed, who's a little bit of a trickle off, but they're a younger tag team who are, maybe breaking up, maybe not. We'll see. I think they need to continue on with this trajectory and stay with this newer, fresher style. And the Outrunners just don't do that for them yet.
Not yet.
The Outrunners are an older tag team. I know they're wildly popular. But yeah, I agree with you guys. I think Private Party takes it, retains, and maybe somewhere down the line somebody takes them off. But right now, it's going to be Private Party.
How cool does Malachi Black look right there, though?
It does. Those graphics are freaking awesome. All right, next up, the TBS Championship, Mercedes Moné against Chris Statlander. And again, I kind of went back and forth on this one. I think in some way, I think somehow Camille costs Mercedes. They've teased the whole thing where she's been messing up. She's been taking some L's because of Camille. Camille's been taking some hits. So I think this is where they make a change with her. Camille cost her the title. Chris Statlander takes the TBS Championship, and Moné ends up going for the AEW title later on down the line. And maybe a quick breakup of the Moné Corporation or whatever they're called, or maybe they add some people in. But yeah, for this one, I think Chris Statlander wins and wins the TBS championship.
I think she
And
keeps
hold
her
on,
title. I think she
so
keeps her
Davey
title.
agrees.
Yeah, I agree with him. Yeah, I think she keeps her title just because of what happened on last night. All right. Yes, everyone's talking about that quote unquote botched backstabber. It wasn't a botch. Okay. She was trying to get on her back to get over her into a tombstone. All right. It's not easy doing stuff like that in like full speed. All right. Some of these guys got to understand that. Okay. But Monet is going to lose the title to her bodyguard. All right. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. They're going to fight, and that's going to happen next year as well. I can see that coming.
And originally, I had that same thought because if you remember on last week's episode, I
You did say
actually
that.
said Camille was going to be the person that wins the title next.
Yep.
I've actually changed my mind on that just because I think they have played it up so much. I actually think they're going to go ahead and do it and maybe have Monet and Camille have a singles match later.
Well, the reason why I say that Camille beats Monet is because they like to copy and paste a lot in AEW. Think about it in this perspective. Things are going the same way, almost. And I'm not saying anything bad about AEW because this works. It does work. All right. WWE does the same thing. They copy and paste a lot. All right. Everybody does it. But this one works for them. The May and Storm stuff, you know, this is almost the same trajectory that's going on there. You're building the young gun to be something better. And now Tony Storm's pretending, and I think it is pretend. Yeah, she may be done for good. I don't know. But she's pretending that she's retiring, and she's going to be back soon. Don't get it twisted. I knew that. But that's what feels like. It feels like they're copy and pasting that. And that's, hey, listen, it worked, and it's going to work again. You know, it's great stories, you know?
So I don't think it's fair to call it a copy and paste of that.
Well, it's not 100% copy and paste.
Mainly because Mariah May didn't go through the struggles of, you know, her hurting her arm, her making mistakes, quote unquote. So I don't think it would be fair to call it a copy and paste. It is the same premise where, you know, you've got someone, and again, it's more of a bodyguard situation where Mariah and Tony Storm was a mentor relationship. This is more of a professional bodyguard type relationship.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
Nobody has said that Camille is looking to Mercedes as her mentor.
No,
hired muscle. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go calling it a copy.
Not a full,
so I would disagree
not a
with
full
that.
one. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Yeah,
So
you are.
The storyline itself is different. So let's give them some credit there. It is a different style of storyline.
But it works.
No, 100% it works. And I think I think there's more to come because she's teased, and I follow a guy on X, and I know Davey knows him, Wes, who is a huge Mercedes Moné fan. And he's mentioned that there is a couple of other wrestlers that are going to be coming in to join the corporation.
Yeah.
That she's got going. So maybe it's where Camille costs her now, and then the new people come in and start beating up Camille, and that's where you get the turn there. And that kind of solidifies that. And they kind of kick her out and let her go do her own thing to where this new corporation gets built around Mercedes Moné, and that's where she goes for the AEW title.
No, I feel that.
Mainly, I say that just because I want to see good things happen to Chris Allen. I like what she's doing. I think she's great in the ring. And I know we've spent all this time talking about Monet, but I want to give Chris Statlander some love. It's one of the reasons I think she's going to win it. And one reason I've changed my mind is just watching some of her stuff, you know, going back and looking at some of her matches. I've really grown to be a fan of hers, and that's why I changed my mind from Camille beating her to Statlander.
No, I feel it.
All right, moving on. You have Jack Perry. If he ever gets out of that warehouse that he's chained up in from 908 last night, because I don't think I saw anybody go back and take him out, so I don't know how he's going to get to Full Gear. Going up against the man who should be in jail for kidnapping him, him and Daddy Magic, to be honest. Daniel Garcia for the TNT Championship. Who you got, Sped?
I'm going to keep Perry on this one. Look, Daniel Garcia's new character is cool and everything. It's better than what he was doing before, but it's still Jack Perry's game in the TNT department. All right. He's being beat up. He's being harassed. He's being all that. He's going to show out at Full Gear. He's going to come in. He's going to beat Daniel Garcia, and he's still going to be your TNT champion. I'm putting it down right now.
Well, go ahead and put it down twice while you're looking down, because I agree. Davey agrees as well. Jack retains. And I said before, I think this is one of those times where we've talked about Omega coming back, and Omega's big thing is with the Elite. He was part of the Elite group while Omega's been gone, because he's been hanging out with the Young Bucks and Okada. I think Omega's main goal when he comes back is going to be to get rid of the Elite and all the people that they have been around them. I think that starts here. I think he actually shows up at Full Gear. I don't think he costs Jack Perry the title. I think Jack Perry will, interferes in the match itself, but I think he comes in after the fact, attacks Jack Perry, and starts his revenge tour, so to speak, to take one little thing from WWE, which I think his revenge tour would be better than Liv Morgan's. But
yeah, oh my God, yeah.
But I think he starts out on the Elite, comes out, attacks Jack Perry, and eventually takes the title from Jack Perry down the line. But I do think he retains here against Daniel Garcia. And you could have somebody from the Death Riders come in and interfere, because I know Garcia's been on the periphery of the Death Riders storyline as well.
Yep.
So you could very easily have that come into where maybe Claudio or Pac or somebody comes out and interfere, or at least distracts, maybe not interfere, because I know AEW doesn't like to do that a lot. But maybe they come out to the ring and just distract Daniel Garcia for a second where he loses focus.
No, I feel that.
Next up, Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. The battle of the best friends. Who you got?
They're not going to let Will Ospreay lose this. There's no way. Come on, man. This is your look. Wasn't there a third guy in his faction at one point?
Mark Davis. Yeah. Well, yeah, they were all the open with those two and Mark Davis.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't think he's going to lose. I think Will wins this. Will Ospreay's fantastic. He's fantastic in the ring. The guy, I really didn't follow him, and I'm not going to lie about this. I didn't follow him, and I should have, but this dude's he's been blowing my damn mind every match that he's in. So, and he's getting better on the mic. We have to give that to him. He's getting way better on the mic. People were bashing him and stuff like that. He's doing good things. Will Ospreay wins, but I think there is going to be outside interference, and I think it's going to be a DQ setting it up for the next match. Round 2 for them.
So I mentioned on the last match, I know AEW doesn't do a lot of shenanigan wins and stuff, or a lot of interference and stuff like that in wins as much as
Don Callis.
But I think there is something to the fact that Kyle Fletcher just turned to this new character.
Yep.
Just went full on heel, embraced everything that Don Callis has been saying.
Oh, yeah.
Don Callis family is stronger than it has ever been.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Brian Cage, Lance Archer. I think I did that again last week. Lance Archer and Takeshita, that somehow they get involved. And I agree with Davey. I think this is setting up a match for the Australia show, because I think that's where the money is for that.
That's what I was thinking, too.
But I think in order to do that, you have to have Kyle Fletcher cheat to win. You can't have Will Ospreay win clean and then move on. There has to be some kind of group effort of the Don Callis family, because then you get to set up another match down the line. Maybe it's a Will Ospreay Kyle Fletcher match, or something like that, where the Don Callis family's barred from the arena or something like that, where it's a true one-on-one clash, and that's where you get your payoff. But yeah, I think Kyle Fletcher wins this one with a lot of shenanigans, a lot of interference and run-ins. Shout out to the run-in.
Yeah,
make sure you go subscribe.
Link in the bio on Twitch.
But yeah, I picked Kyle Fletcher for this one just for that reason. I want to see this continue on to see where it goes, and hopefully it does end in Australia with a huge pop for when Will Ospreay defeats the hometown guy there, Kyle Fletcher.
Ozzy.
Yeah. Next up, the match we talked about earlier, Swerve Strickland. Damn, what is wrong with me today? Facing Bobby Lashley in essentially Bobby Lashley's debut, other than the squash match Wednesday. And just because I have no idea, I'll let you go first. I'm
going Lashley going Lashley because of this reason. MVP and Shelton Benjamin. All right. We don't have the Mongol Empire anymore to help Swerve Strickland. And yes, I went back. All right. It shows you how long I've been watching. Okay. We don't have the Empire no more to help out. All right. Brian Cage is in the Don Callis family now. He ain't there to help out. Okay. There's a difference in this. They're trying to build up Lashley. And final word sped, you're going to like. But they're trying to build up Lashley. And I think it's to go for the AEW run for the AEW world title. So now he's got to face the ex-champions. He's going to go out to Hangman soon. And then he's going to go out to Kenny Omega. Then he's going to, stuff like that. It's just to build Bobby Lashley up. We're going to get a second match out of this. Probably going to get a third match out of this, actually. I think this is going to be a good series. Probably better than Hangman versus Swerve. And to be honest with you, these two have the ability to do it.
So I agree Lashley wins, and Davey does too. He thinks Lashley's going to win. I actually, because of everything I said in our last match, and because AEW doesn't like to do a lot of that, I don't think there's really any shenanigans here. I think they just have a straight-up one-on-one match. And I think because Bobby Lashley is the new guy, the powerhouse, the guy that they've just brought in, I do think he gets a clean win. Maybe again, maybe a distraction. I don't think anybody physically gets involved. Maybe there's a distraction kind of thing, kind of like I mentioned a little earlier. But I don't think that MVP or Shelton Benjamin get physically involved. And here's why. I think they actually really want Swerve in their group. So I don't know that they are going to jump him in the match. I think they want to show, and I think Bobby Lashley will actually call them off if they want to try it. Because I think Bobby Lashley wants to beat him fair and square, beat him straight up head to head to show Swerve Strickland why he should be in the group. Yeah. And I think you could play it off like that. Look, you tried to go against us. You got beat. Bobby Lashley beat you. Yeah, you beat Shelton Benjamin, but our head man, our main guy beat you down and beat you one-on-one, fair and square. And this would have never happened if you'd have just said yes. Yep. We handed you the card. So I think Bobby Lashley does win it. I think it's a very, very clean match. Like I said, maybe a distraction, but I don't even think that's going to happen. Or I don't think that will go into the end of it. There may be a distraction, but it doesn't cost anybody the match. So it is a very insignificant thing in the actual match. But again, I agree with you guys. Lashley does take the win. And I actually want Swerve Strickland in the Hurt Syndicate. I think he would be great with them. I think he gives them more of an edge than what they have now. Yeah, they're big and strong. They're great professional wrestlers, but Swerve has a certain edge to him and a certain violence to him that you don't really see in a lot of Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. So I think that would give them another dynamic, even more so than like a Ricochet or a Leo Rush or some of the other people they have recruited. I think Swerve Strickland gives them more of a violent tendency. And I think it would make that group a little bit more dynamic. All right. Next up is the main event. Jon Moxley, Orange Cassidy for the AEW World Championship. Sped, is this the time for Orange Cassidy to ascend to the throne of AEW?
No, sadly, it is not. Man, this run that Moxley is on right now is phenomenal. All right. And he came out and said things are going to change. We haven't had an identity yet. And the identity is about to start showing. I keep saying it each and every week. These guys are doing between 630 and 660K a week. Okay, each and every week. All right. That's good numbers for a company that doesn't have an identity. All right. That's great numbers. And they're 0.19 on the demo. All right. Jon Moxley is one of the reasons why the show is staying afloat right now. And they're not going to get him off that title. I said it a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week or the week before, that it's going to be Darby Allin. One of the four pillars, it's going to be Darby Allin that's going to take it from him. Because Darby should be AEW champion right now. If it wasn't for Jon Moxley coming in and goading him into challenge putting his number one contenders match on the line, and then I said the same thing, but I still think it's going to be Darby Allin that takes it from John Moxley.
Look, I am never going to give Darby Allin any credit for that, because that was one of the dumbest moves.
No, that was stupid.
Much like when WWE made Otis put his Money in the Money in the Bank briefcase up for grabs. You never do that. I mean, why?
That was dumb.
Why would you ever do anything like that? That was the dumbest move. It made Darby Allin look stupid.
It made him look weak.
Well, not necessarily weak. It just made him look dumb. I mean, there was ways to get to that match, and I get it. They wanted John Moxley to have. I get the storyline aspect of it. I'm not saying it wasn't a good story. The story made Darby Allin look dumb.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Which is why I don't think he's going to be the one that dethrones Moxley. But I think we talked about that last week. I think it's going to end up being Will Ospreay way down the line. But in this match, obviously, if I don't think it's going to be him, and I think it's going to be Will Ospreay, obviously I can't pick Orange Cassidy here. I think John Moxley wins. I think John Moxley wins, and I think it'll be a great match. But I think John Moxley will win fairly convincingly after a very hard fought match, because they're not going to send Orange Cassidy out there just to get beat up in 5 minutes and be done.
I saw this thing on X though that made it very interesting about Orange Cassidy though. Think about this.
Okay.
What if it's a double turn? You know, let's say Orange Cassidy joins John Moxley at the end and turns on Wheeler Yuta, because he's really the odd one out. He doesn't bring that edge. You know, and I mean, he could get it out of Orange. He seemed like he's got an edge to him when he wants to put it out there, you know?
Yeah, I've seen that floated around too, and they could do that.
That'd be cool.
I would actually like Orange Cassidy to join this group.
That would be amazing.
Get that edge, whether Wheeler Yuta leaves, it makes no consequence to me. I kind of like the way they're doing Wheeler Yuta, you know, where he's there, but he doesn't feel like he wants to be there, but he feel like he needs to be there.
Yeah.
I think it gives the group a little bit of seriousness, because they've convinced him that he has to be there whether he wants to or not.
No, I get it.
So I don't know that I want, and even if they decide to beat him up, I don't think he should leave the group just yet. But I would like to see Orange Cassidy at some point, maybe not now, join the group, because he's already said, look, I didn't want to be your leader. You've kind of pushed me into this situation now. He didn't say that part. That's Mike talking. But he did say, I'm not a leader. That's not who I am. And now they forced him into that. Now he's in this situation, and he does want to defend AEW, but maybe going in and get beat, kind of similar to the way I said with Swerve and Lashley, maybe this opens his eyes to where he ends up joining them down the line. I would like to see that, just because I still want to see Orange Cassidy. I would like to see him for a little bit be the guy that doesn't put his hands in his pocket and doesn't carry around the backpack. I want to see a more serious side to him without the other part of the gimmick. You can always go back to it whenever he decides to go face again, whenever this group decides that they're going to get, you know, when it's run its course. But right now, I want to see Orange Cassidy just beat people up and be serious.
Yes.
And I think that would be a cool change of position for him. And that would really signify, because Moxley doing this, Moxley's not much different than when he was when he started. He's still just going around beating people up. That's what Moxley's always done. You know, Pac is the same way. He's just kind of beat people up. Even when, you know, it was him in the trios match and with Death Triangle, his character has not changed all that much.
Yep.
You know, Claudio's character hasn't changed a ton. They're just going after different people now.
Well, think about
Orange
that German.
Cassidy join this group would make a complete change that they're talking about they want to see in AEW. People would see that, because AEW is Orange Cassidy, and that's what they've built up this entire storyline. I am AEW. I am why AEW is here. AEW is why I'm here. We are the same. We are the underdogs. We are the ones nobody believed in, and we are the ones that are surviving.
Yep.
If you see that get beat and turn to quote unquote the dark side, That's the physical change you need to see for the group
Yep.
to show that they're really taking over AEW.
Yes, exactly. Yes, you're right. I like it. That's 9 matches right there, isn't it?
Yep, that's the entire card. Davey, I did not see who you think would win this match. Let us know who you think wins that match as well. I know you've given us everybody else.
3 matches. 3 matches. So we will have a definitive. There will be one.
Champion.
No, either you will retain or I will win it. So 3 matches that we don't agree on, and this is gonna be beautiful.
So make sure you tune in next Friday. Again, programming note: we will be on the air Friday instead of Thursday, since I will be out of town and Sped will be with family stuff. So we will not be on next Thursday. The run-in will be live next Friday at 8 Central. But we will finish out this week with our Twitter post of the week. And this is one we actually added late. We had a different one. We were actually, full disclosure, we were going to do the tag team one in this spot in our Twitter post of the week, but we just had something come out today that I really wanted to talk about that I thought was interesting. WWE has released their merch sales, or their merch leaderboard, I guess is the best way to put it. And there's the top 10. You've got Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, no real surprise there. CM Punk, Jey Uso, John Cena, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, LA Knight, Randy Orton, and Damian Priest. So were there any surprises on this list for you, Spad?
How is Dom not on this list?
There it is. There's what I was looking for.
How
I knew he was going to come up later.
How is Dom not on this list? Man, you guys really hating on the Latino, man. Come on. The kid is amazing. He's doing good stuff. Just let him cut a promo, and you guys will understand what I'm talking about. The kid is amazing. But how is CM Punk number 3? I thought we all loved Jey Uso. He should be top 3, maybe top 2. All right. John Cena still being in there. That's funny. All right. Damian Priest. Okay, I get it. That he's got some cool stuff for the Latino culture out there. That's dope. LA Knight. Everybody just wants to walk around with, yeah. Come on. There's free.
Do you think he's too high or not high enough?
I think he's too high. I think he should be. Okay. I think, look, there's guys on there. Yeah, you could get American made t-shirts. That's cool. You could get the LWO t-shirts. Those are cool. I love the way those look. But yeah, come on. At least LWO has a bottom, Latino World Order. You know, and it's just, yeah. That just makes no sense to me. And it looks like Hulk Hogan's old freaking logo, red and yellow or yellow and red. Come on, man. Pick out your own damn colors.
Well, there's only so many colors you can do. I mean, you're going to have to
red and yellow is for everybody. Everybody uses red and yellow, or yellow and red, whatever it is.
So then you can't blame LA Knight for using them if everybody uses them. It's not that he's copying. Red and yellow are just popular colors.
I don't know about that.
Maybe he's a Chiefs fan. I don't know.
Maybe. He's from Maryland, so I doubt it.
So honestly, the biggest surprise to me on the list, one, I am a little surprised that Liv Morgan is above Rhea Ripley, just as popular as Rhea Ripley's been all year.
Yes.
And this is for all of 2024, so this takes into account even pre-WrestleMania or pre-SummerSlam, where Liv Morgan had come back and started this whole revenge tour, and Rhea Ripley's been pretty hot all year in the company. So that surprises me a little bit that Liv Morgan is the top-selling female on the list. Another name that surprises me by not being there at all is Drew McIntyre. You know, he was in maybe the hottest feud. I don't know that he has a ton, but I mean, neither does CM Punk. And they were in the same feud.
Old stuff, yeah.
But I just with him being in probably the hottest feud in the WWE this year in 2024, it surprises me that he's not on there somewhere. I agree. Maybe LA Knight's too high. Maybe he should be just off this list. Again, Randy Orton doesn't have that much merch. He's only got a couple shirts.
Yeah, everything says RKO on it.
Well, he does have some of the Viper stuff and all that. You know, you also have KO, who's not on here. I know, again, there's not a ton of stuff that you could do for KO. But, again, he's been one of the more popular people. Sami Zayn not being on there. And I wonder how close they are to it. This has been kind of a down year for Sami Zayn.
Yeah, merch-wise, yeah.
But here's the thing that caught my eye the most, other than people just not being there. Everybody talks all the time and have talked for years about WWE not listening to their fans. Why are you not pushing my favorite? Well, if you want to know why your favorite's not getting pushed,
that's why.
Fed, Sped, if you want to know why your favorite's not getting pushed,
That's why.
look at this list.
Well, no, Dom's getting good stuff. It's just everybody hates on the kid. It's not like he's not getting pushed. I understand that he's not selling things. Plus, he doesn't have much. What kind of guy wants to wear Daddy Dom on their back? Like what? What?
Well, I mean, Liv Morgan's been right there beside Dom since she's come back.
Yeah, I
But yet
understand.
she's up there.
She's also got that "Mommy's on Top" T-shirt. You know,
Well, that's Rhea though. That's
no,
Rhea.
no,
Not Liv.
that's true. Yeah, my bad. She's got a bunch of other stuff
I
too.
mean,
That's not
ever
just
since
Dom.
Liv has come back, her and Dom have been tied together. And so
They're
with
so
her being that high and Dom not being anywhere on the top 10, because people just aren't buying his merch.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's doing great
But,
things. Who cares?
You know, CM Punk was in one of the biggest feuds. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, biggest feud. Jey Uso's in the Bloodline, biggest feud. Now John Cena's John Cena.
John Cena. Yeah.
I guarantee you he probably wasn't on this list until they announced the retirement tour.
Yeah,
It's coming
exactly,
up. So that probably give. Now he had to be close. He had to be in the top 15 maybe. But I think with that announcement, I think people started running out buying John Cena stuff, which catapulted him into this list. I agree. I don't know why LA Knight's that high. I know he's very popular. I know it's catchy to do the LA Knight thing. Randy Orton being gone for a long period of time and still being up there is surprising a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, you look at all these people. Most of these people have been champion at some point in time in the company. You know, the only person who hasn't really been a champion this year of some capacity is CM Punk and Randy Orton. And John Cena. Sorry, John Cena actually obviously hadn't been there. But of all the other people, every single one of these people have been some sort of champion at some point in time in this year. So that's really what stood out to me the most is if you want to know why your person is not getting pushed, look at this list and realize that people are not as behind them as you are or as you think they are.
No, I feel what you're saying.
Just because somebody gets a cheer in an arena doesn't mean somebody's going out spending hard-earned money on their merch. So that's why they don't get pushed.
Listen,
The business, ladies and gentlemen, it will always be a business, and it's treated that way as such.
Yep, always.
All right, last but not least, before we get to Sped's final word, we do have our Matchmaker series, a little something different. Thank you, Lady Alpha. We appreciate you sticking in as long as you have. I know you've been with us even on the behind the scenes. Yes, ma'am. Good night. Have a great night. Click on that. A little bit different on our Matchmaker series this week. It is not actually a wrestling match. Before you guys see the competitors and jump right in, we are actually going to have a promo battle between four of the most legendary managers in WWE history. Or in wrestling history. Bobby the Brain was probably more WCW, but you have Bobby the Brain Heenan, Captain Lou Albino, Paul Heyman, and Paul Bearer in a manager's mic promo battle. Sped, who you got?
Let's see. I would say Bobby the Brain Heenan. All right, let's see. The guy was sharp. All right, he had humor. He had the ability to get under anyone's skin with sarcasm and clever insults. Heenan was the ultimate trash talker who could humiliate his opponents, and make you laugh at the same time. All right. His best line, I think, would be, unlike you three clowns, I didn't need to surround myself with monsters and lunatics. I manage champions because I'm a champion in brains. All right. And when I say that, it would be because Andre the Giant is number one on that list. All right. Look how many he managed his way. Don't get it twisted with Paul Heyman. He might be one of the greatest managers ever. All right. He managed Brock Lesnar. He managed CM Punk. He managed Stone Cold Steve Austin for a little bit back in the day. He managed a lot of people. But Bobby the Brain Heenan, man, that guy, he had everything. He had the smarts. He had the cunning. He had everything that you wanted in a manager and also into a commentator. The guy was fantastic in WCW. All right. Now, Paul Heyman, he would definitely be my second pick in this one because of the passion, the intensity, and the ability to sell anything. Anything. That man is a sell man. All right. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's going to be Bobby the Brain Heenan that takes the mic battle he just destroys all three of them. Paul Bear is just going to get laughed out of his mind by Paul. People are going to laugh their butts off Bobby the Brain Heenan going off on Paul Bear's voice. He's going to knock down ECW, completely get underneath the Heyman skin. And then, crap, I have him right here. Lou doesn't stand a chance against Bobby. I'm sorry.
Okay. So I have it a little differently. I actually think it comes down to the same two you had between Bobby the Brain Heenan and Paul Heyman.
Oh yeah.
I almost put Jimmy Hart in here because Jimmy Hart was a really good talker as well.
The Mouth of the South would have been great in this one.
I almost put him in instead of Captain Lou Albano, but I have a special place in my heart for Captain Lou Albano. So that's why he got put in here instead of Jimmy Hart. There's obviously a lot of managers that you could put in there.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think there is a better wrestling talker or just better talker in general, really, than Paul Heyman.
It was really hard for me to pick Bobby the Brain Heenan. I'm not going to lie, but I did anyway.
Now, if this were a wrestling match, I would probably have to say Bobby the Brain Heenan or Captain Lou Albano.
I was going to say Bobby on that one.
In complete transparency, originally this was going to be a wrestling match, which is another reason Captain Lou's in there, but I changed it because I knew Paul Bear and Paul Heyman would have no shot because neither one of them are actually wrestlers. At least the other guys have stepped in the ring. But I don't think anybody tops the microphone skills of Paul Heyman. And you mentioned Bobby the Brain Heenan as a commentator. Paul Heyman has done commentating. I mean, hell, he ran ECW.
Fantastic with JR back in the day on Raw.
But him and Bobby going at it.
Oh, man, it'd be legendary. Yes. Oh, my God. Yes. Oh.
All right. And that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate everybody staying in. We will get the Sped's final word. This is where I shut the hell up. And you guys get to hear from the man you've been waiting on. I will say goodnight. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Make sure you go like and subscribe. We are on the push to 100 subscribers by the end of 2024 at _BigMike27 on YouTube or the Run in Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. Please go like, subscribe, tell a friend, tell everyone you can. Tell if look, everybody's going to be together for Thanksgiving next week. Tell all your family. Look, we need to subscribe to the Run in Wrestling Podcast, and I will give thanks to all of you. But it is time now for me to turn the microphone over to Sped for Sped's final word.
All right, folks. With Kenny Omega returning here soon, I thought of, hey, who could he go after? Well, here's one guy. The belt collector type of match. You had the OG belt collector from Impact, Bobby Lashley. Took the X Division title. Took the, what was that? I have it right here. He took the X Division title, the Impact title, and there was one more. I can't remember. I have it in here. I just can't find it. But he was unstoppable. Yeah, he was unstoppable. He didn't just hold titles. He held them on his own. But let's fast forward. Kenny Omega, he took it one step further. He went to Impact. He got that title. He came to AEW. He got that title. He went to AAA. He got that title. He became 3 world promotional champions. Okay, so match 1, I think, would be result in Kenny Omega's victory. All right, via DQ. All right, you're gonna have Shelton Benjamin, MVP, get involved. All right, but that sets up the second match, the no DQ match. Bobby Lashley wins. How? With no rules. Lashley crew takes over. Omega, though, does get his help. We'll say that he gets his help with the Young Bucks. All right, but Lashley's too strong. He gets that match. We got 1-1. All right, final match. Here we go, folks. It's going to be for the number 1 contenders match of the AEW World Heavyweight title. This is going to be on the biggest stage, All In or Double or Nothing. We're going to have a big match series right here. All right, result, Kenny Omega wins in a fantastic finish, but chaotic with a surprise twist. Here we go. The match is brutal, back and forth, showcasing Lashley's power and Omega's precision. MVP and Benjamin already try to get involved, giving Lashley the edge. The Young Bucks come out, evening up the odds, taking out Shelton and MVP, but Lashley still dominates. As he prepares to hit the spear to finish Omega, Don Callis comes out. All right? Don Callis distracts Bobby Lashley, hits him with something. I don't know what happens, but it sets up a one-winged angel. Padoom, 1, 2, 3. Kenny Omega is going to go face the AEW World Champion, whoever it may be, Darby Allin, whoever it may be at that time. But at the end of the match, we don't get no raising of the hand and everybody being, oh man, this is the true belt collector, Kenny Omega. No, we get Don Callis and Omega staring at each other like, what the hell is going on? And a angry Bobby Lashley sitting in the corner, setting up the fourth match that I have no idea how it's going to go down because I didn't get that far. But that's what I think, folks. Kenny Omega, Bobby Lashley coming up, and the storylines about them being belt collectors.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Sped's final word on how he thinks Kenny Omega comes back. One last programming note to make sure next week on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, after you're done with all your shopping and all your eating, come join us next Friday, 9/8 Central for the run-in. Thank you guys so much for listening. Tell a friend on the road to 100. Have a great night, guys.